If you are looking to take a short trip to the lap of luxury accommodation, visit boutique wineries and vineyards, see arts and sculpture and enjoy a relaxing atmosphere, then look no more. The historical village of Wollumbai in the magnificent Hunter Valley has an impeccable country hospitality and activities to suit every taste and energy level.
G'day folks, and welcome to another full motion adventure. On this trip we're heading up to Yengo National Park, which is not too far from Sydney.
We begin our trip in this historic township of Wollumbai, so come with us and share the adventure.
Let's get stuck into it.
Let's do it. Situated only 29 kilometres southwest of Cessnock and 128 kilometres north of Sydney, exploring this colonial and convict heritage is your perfect weekend getaway. Fancy a countryside stroll? Well, right in the village itself, you can take a little detour and explore the Wollumbai Nature Trail. It is incredibly lush and serene with fairly easy steps guiding you down to the Wollumbai Brook. The path is around 500 metres long one way, and at the base you will find a winding and gentle running creek. Situated just on the edge of the village, you'll find a dog-friendly pub called the Wollumbai Tavern. This is a popular spot for tourists and visitors to the Hunter Valley. You can enjoy a drink with your dog on the large, partly covered veranda while having some lunch and overlooking the beautiful Wollumbai Valley. Wollumbai Tavern also has enormous grounds that offer free camping for you and your dog. Toilets are open all the time, however, there are no showers on offer. Food and drinks are available 7 days and nights, and group bookings welcome. A requirement of good manners whilst on the property is no BYO while the tavern is open. We'd love to stay here, however our destination today is Finchley Campground, and to get there we need to prep up our van for the trip. Here's Alex to offer you some handy tips.
Righto folks, well the sign just said that the road conditions are changing, which means we're going on the gravel. So this is the time that we're going to air down, and I'm going to do that now just to smooth out the ride and make our trip that much more comfortable. So just a little chat about our tyre pressures. When we're on the highway, we run these about 40 psi, and when we go off-road, we drop them down to about 28 psi. Now, when I mean off-road, I mean on good gravel roads, some corrugations and things like that. Now, these are Kumo Road Venture AT51s. They're an all-terrain light truck construction tyre, and as I've mentioned before, these have been working really well for us. The wear rate's really good. We haven't had any punctures yet. Now that could be luck, or it could be a good tyre, or it could be a combination of both. But I think knowing what your tyre pressures are at all times, whether you're on the road or off the road, is really important.
Our excitement heightens as we hit the dirt, for we know deep down that wherever we go becomes a part of us somehow. And jobs may fill your pockets, but adventures fill the soul, and there is just so much to see. Our first stop will be the Finchley Lookout, so we head southeast on the Yengo Creek Road and will follow the signs on the Finchley track. Now please be aware that access to the Finchley area of the park is through private property and permission may be required. Malcolm Street from iMotorhomes magazine has this to say about the T6 Volkswagen. Even 3 decades or so ago, the Volkswagen Combi was an icon in the world of campervans and for many was the vehicle of choice when it came to travelling. This has changed somewhat, and to some extent Volkswagen campervans and campervans generally are looked down upon by those travelling in more extensive and more luxurious vehicles. However, there's much to be said for the VW's van's lightweight travel capability and manoeuvrability, especially for those who are still working and desire both an around-the-town vehicle and a weekend escape machine. In addition, some desire to recapture their younger years, and something like a VW campervan is an excellent way of doing that. One of the legends of the VW was that it was a go-anywhere vehicle. So many off-road enthusiasts have been chagrined after negotiating a rough bush track to their favourite campsite only to find a Combi already there. Adding to the capability of the transporter has been VW's 4Motion all-wheel drive feature, which is excellent for negotiating anything from wet and muddy suburban sports fields to snow-covered alpine roads. Along the winding road, we enjoy the lovely homesteads that ooze with country charm. We become part of the scenic rural views and find peace in the tranquil environment. Coupled with April's autumn colour, our senses are simply stimulated. When travelling on roads that contains creek crossings, it's essential to keep an eye on the weather. About a month ago, there were heavy rains in the area we are travelling in that caused these river crossings to be impassable. Of course, if the roads are closed or the river is flowing faster than you can walk it, don't take a chance. Either turn around and go somewhere else, or if you are driving out of an area, stay put until the river levels subside to a safer level. According to the manufacturer, the safe wading depth is 300 mil, and given the air intake on our van is located just left of the driver's side headlight, it's just not worth the risk of damaging your engine or even much worse. As most would know, it's prohibited to take wood from national parks and reserves, even if the wood is dead or fallen. So, if you are looking to enjoy a campfire, and let's face it, who wouldn't, you should consider carrying firewood with you and check the local regulations to see what is actually permitted.
Okay, so what's for lunch?
Well, we have Moroccan lamb stew, which I pre-made, and I put it in a container and I froze it, and with some fresh bread and yours truly, your favourite
feta cheese.
Feta cheese.
Well, you know that they say it's scientifically proven that feta cheese is good for you. So I'm just going off the doctor's orders.
Only a 2-hour drive from Newcastle and Sydney, and yet so remarkably secluded, Yengo National Park feels miles away from the hustle and bustle of city life. And with so much on offer like the Aboriginal cultural walk, the panoramic views and the remote wilderness, what is there not to like? Yengo's beauty yields most to those who take the time to stay and explore. The climate is somewhat drier than both the higher ranges further west and the coastal zone to the east. Yengo National Park, which forms part of the Blue Mountains, is a wild area of steep gorges and rocky ridges, soaring Sydney blue gums and patches of rainforest, while the gullies and creeks are coloured by sandstone caves. Here's some handy tips. When driving on dirt roads, particularly when you are driving on reduced tyre pressures, it's a good idea to consider slowing down around corners, as dirt and gravel built up on the crest and side of the road can cause you to lose traction. Also, If there is any oncoming traffic, it gives you enough time to take evasive action to avoid a collision. We tend to also move the gear selector to allow us to select the gear we want to drive in. Here, Alex is toggling between first, second and third gears, and by doing this, he chooses what gear he prefers to be in based on the track conditions. Now, if you're after 360 degrees of uninterrupted, breathtaking views, then welcome to the Finchley Lookout. Take a short, steep walk up some carefully crafted steps to a viewing platform and be prepared to gaze far into Australia's natural beauty. Take in the panoramic views this site offers. ExploreAus.com writes a beautiful piece about this land. Dominating the landscape, the Basalt peak of Mount Yengo is an important feature of this region's rich indigenous heritage. This flat-top mountain is said to be the place where Dreamtime ancestral being of Byami, or Byam, stepped off into the heavens after creating the world. Aboriginal people have probably lived in the area for about 13,000 years, and Yengo is crisscrossed with Aboriginal routes used by highland and coastal tribes, where reciprocal visits were often arranged to exploit seasonally abundant food. This historic old Great North Road path was probably an Aboriginal travelling route shown to the surveyors by the local people. Adding to the experience, the information presented on the interpretation boards help tell a story of a faraway time. Next, we visit the Finchley Aboriginal area, a place that promises to show us an astonishing wealth of ancient Aboriginal rock art, as well as great insights into Aboriginal history. Looking for some guidance along the way, Leanne King is a proud Darug woman who owns and operates Wollumbai Aboriginal Cultural Experiences. She has been learning Wollumbai cultural lore for over 30 years and loves nothing more than to share her wealth of knowledge with you. For more information on these tours and experiences, you can visit the website welcometocountry.com.
Not far from the Finchley Trig Station is this Aboriginal mapping site. Now Olga will tell you all about it, but we're going to respectfully walk through the area and just reflect on this very, very interesting part of Aboriginal history and heritage.
The Finchley Aboriginal area contains many interesting engravings, some of which include an enormous and imposing figure, an unusual emu woman, and an infant nestled in a depression in the rocks. Please take care and avoid touching or walking on Aboriginal rock art to ensure that we preserve these meaningful and significant sites. According to the National Park's website, they suggest that for something secluded but still packed with points of interest, the Finchley Campground is a good bet for self-sufficient travellers. Offering 4 basic sites, wood barbecues and non-flush toilets, there are almost never any crowds here unless you count the native birds and the resident goannas.
Righto, we've made it to the Finchley camping area. Now all we've got to do is set up camp,
Get a fire going
crack a beer.
and enjoy the night.
Let's do it.
Just a short walk from camp, Alex finds a small cave with Aboriginal hand stencils. Aboriginal people would mix crushed ochre, water and animal fat to make these hand stencils. What a lovely place to explore and reflect.
Righto, Olga, it's dinner time. What's on the menu for tonight?
What's on the menu tonight? I cheated a little bit today because I only knew we had an overnighter and I made like a curry stew. You know the ready-made mash that you get from Coles? I'm just going to add some hot water, make some mash with some chicken curry.
And we've got the fire cranked up over here, the Combi Life or Combi fire pit, which is pretty cool. We're stoking it up for the first time. Righto, so show us how this masterpiece is created.
I could use the Webasto cooktop in there, but it's a beautiful, beautiful night. We've got the fire going, and so I'm just going to use this, really easy to carry stovetop. A little bit of a swap, easy peasy. And I've already measured up the water. There's 1 1/4 cups of water in here, and this is again very much so the cheats way.
So you don't need me to peel potatoes?
No peeling potatoes. Oh. I don't know how it's going to taste.
That'll be a change because I'm used to peeling potatoes,
Yes. There you go. There's the mash already made. Let's have a look at taste. It's not too bad actually.
Righto.
Yeah. We'll just see how we go.
Very good.
There you go.
Let's have a closer look at that, hang on.
Yeah, look at this.
Instant mash, eh?
Instant mash. Look,
I like that.
it's not something I'd make at home, but when you're camping, God, efficiency is everything, isn't it?
Definitely. I was going to just have bush tucker, but I'm glad you brought the portable mash.
Portable mash and ready-made chicken curry.
Beauty. Righto, so everything cooked up?
Everything's been coming along well. It's all been heated through. I've got the mash ready. There's the ready-made mash. I'm just going to dish it out now. Are you ready for dinner?
Let's do it.
Okay. Pretty good.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And I'm going to show you a little trick soon of how to clean this up without really getting your tank dirty.
Oh, that's nice.
Yum. Best part about this chicken curry is that you can freeze it and just bring it out when you do your overnighters. It's really easy. When you finish finished dinner and the dishes are a little dirty to wash inside because of the residue that's left over hitting the tanks inside. The handy tip that I'm going to give you today is that you've got wet ones sitting inside the car. You can use them for your hands sometimes, you know, freshen up in the evenings when you don't have a shower. But what I like to do is I just clean most of the gunk off the dishes before I take them inside and wash them in the tank, and then I just dispose of the wet ones in the rubbish.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed the trip up here to Yengo National Park, and hope it inspires you to get out and check it out for yourself. It's a really neat place, lots to do, great family destination. Bring the kids around and explore. Anyway, from us, we're going to sit back and dream about the next adventure
for the love
of travel.
As we sit around the campfire, we cannot help but be mesmerised by the flickering of the flames, where we sit, reflect and be grateful.